Okay, we're up to Mem Vav Amid Beis, Mem Vav Amid Beis, and we're speaking about the qualities of Levaya, of the going ahead and accompanying a person, right? Accompanying a person along the way. And we're up going to begin the Maisa with Elisha. Elisha goes to background, he goes to Yericho, and he goes ahead and the water of Yericho was bitter, he made it sweet. And there was some children over there, they call them children, who were upset at him because they made their money bringing in Poland Springs and Pure Life and Kirkland, and now they didn't need it anymore because he made the water sweet. So they derided him, and they got under his skin, and nothing good happened to them, as we're going to see. They met the Chicago Bears, as we'll see. So we're going to begin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines up. 11 lines up. Rabbi Yochanan mishum Reb Meir. Kol she'ein malave u'mislave ki'ilu shafeach damim. Right. Kol she'ein malave, without an escort. This ki'ilu shafeach damim. Shalmali levoya anshe Yericho Elisha had anyone, if they had accompanied the men of Yericho had accompanied Elisha, then like Gera Dubim Latinoicus, the Dubim bears would not have gone ahead and taken care of these kids. Shenemar says Vayal Misham Beisel, who all of Bederech, when the Orim Ketanim Yotzim in Air, by Iskal Subai, they derided Elisha. The Yamuloi, they said to him, Alei Kireach. He was bald, and they made fun of his baldness. So Amuloi, now, that you made this place that the lashon of alei shekrachta aleinu asamakan, because you emptied out this place for us. You made the place bald for us, because again they were providing water, and because the water was bitter, and now it no longer was there. The Gemara wants to know, Mayuna Orim Ketanim. Those are, it's a Tati Desasri. If they're no Orim, they're not Ketanim. So Amr Abalaza, Sheminu Orim min mitzvahs. They were minorim, they were shaken away from mitzvahs. Ketanim, Shayim Ketani Amona, they lacked bitachon that a Kodesh Baruch Hu would provide parnasa for them, that they were going ahead and blaming, Elisha for taking away their parnasa. Tana, another pshat, Na'arim, they were Na'arim, they were meaning they were young men, Ubizbasu Atzman, but they treated it, they acted immaturely, kiktanim, like little kids. So Maskala Rabbi Yosef said, Vidilma, what's Bikasha? Maybe Al Shemaka, maybe they were katanim from Na'arim, and Na'arim is the name of a place. Miloi Kasiv does not say, the Aram Yotzu Gedudim, from Aram came out Gedudim troops, V'yishbu Eretz Yisrael, Naro Ketana, the Koshel are Nairo Ketana, the L'cher it's a Nairo, it's not a Ketana. So V'ama Rav Ptus Ketana, the Min Na'arim. They were Ketanas, but they were from the city of Na'arim, so they wouldn't over here. Why don't you just say they were for Na'arim? We don't have to come on to such sophisticated pshatim. So Hassan over there, like Misfarish Mekayim, over there, it didn't say the place. But over here, Misfarish Mekayim, it says Yericho. So since it says Yericho over here, you can't say Na'arim means a place called Na'arim. Okay, again, weiter in the sugya of what happened to these kids. By Ifan Achrav, by Yireim, by Yikal B'Shem Hashem. Right, and he turned afterwards by Yireim and he Mara. What in other words, it's mashma that Elisha saw something and he cursed them. What did he see? Amarav Ro'u Mamish. Right, he with his re'iyah he mamish hurt them. With his re'iyah he mamish hurt them. Kedetanya of Shimon Goloimer Kamakam Shenasnu Chacham Meinayim. Any place the Chachamim look, right? Oy misay ani. Either the person's going to die, the person's going to get poverty stricken. Right? We spoke out many times about you look and it became a galavanis, right? A galat samais. They looked at a person and they moved the whole Indian of the person. So that was the pshat of Shimon Gamliel. Shmuel Amar. Shmuel says, "Shekul mis'abra mehen imam b'yam kippur." You know what you saw? That all these kids were the product of Isser. That they were all conceived on Yom Kippur when Bia is Asa. Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Amar Belorius he saw they had blurius. They had this Mongol cut. They had the little something growing out of their head. It was of the Zara. Roll him Cameroyim. He saw that they acted like people from Emar. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Ro, what else? They see Shlei Hoysa behen lachlucha shel mitzvah. They didn't even have a shemitz of a mitzvah. In other words, before Elisha cursed them, he saw clearly that these are not good boys.
These kids have the din of a ben Nida if it's on Kippur.
Huh?
A child born that's conceived on Kippur is a ben Nida.
Is that a very, very extraneous question? That's nothing to do with the share.
I'm just here if you just said it.
Yeah, that's what it says over here. They were conceived on Yom Kippur. It's in Issacharus. It's in Issacharus. But I don't know. What's Ben Nid is also in Issacharus.
Same thing, right?
I don't know. But I don't know. Again, they're not good guys. They're not good guys. The Dilma Bizarayu Nahava Have, right? Maybe in their children there'd be someone. In other words, good. He's killing them. What about their kids? What about their kids? Some of Elaza loybam loybezaram at Saif Koladoris. In other words, before Elisha uttered this curse, he looked and he saw Dari. He saw Dari, right? That this is not nothing good's going to come from these kids. It says Vateitzena shtayim dubim min ha'ir. 2 bears came out of the forest. Vatifkana mehem aboyim ushnei yuladim. And Mamish cracked open from them 42 yuladim, 42 kids. Now Rabbi Shmuel said Chadam anes mitoich nes. One says it was only one nes, and the other one said what? It was a nes mitoich nes. What is that? Mandiam a nes mitoich nes, right? Mandam a nes yarhu dubin loyhave. What was the nest? That there was a forest, existing forest, but there wasn't bears, and he created the bears. And mandam a nes mitoich nes lo yarhavev lo dubin have. Neither one was there. So he went ahead and put a forest, and he put bears in the forest. Read the Gemara. Why do you have to perform 2 nisim? Just make one nest. Bring the bears out without the forest. Says no, the BC. Bears like to be, they can run back into the forest. In other words, I guess to minimize the nest. So they created. They wouldn't be uncomfortable if there wasn't a forest there. Amrab Chanina, Bishvil Arba Shnaim Karbonos Shehikriv Balak Melech Moav, because of the 42 Karbonos that Balak Melech Moav made in order to curse, that Bilam should be able to curse Klal Yisrael. Ufkom Yisrael Aboyim Shnaim Yelodim. It had the impact that what there was killed 42 kids. Inius, it really saw that was the schar that he killed 42 kids. Avam Rabbi Yehuda Marav Loilum Yasakadim B'Toyev Mitzvahs Raf Bishaloi Lishma Shemitar Shaloi Lishma Bal Lishma. In other words, certainly when he was going ahead and Balak was paying Bilam and making his karbanis was for Shaloi Lishma. But look, but a good thing came out of it. Shebeschar Aboyim Shnayim Karbanos Shekiv Balak, the 42 karbanos that Balak brought, Melech Moav, Zachav Yatzim Menurus, he was Zachah that Rus HaMoaviyah came from him. And what happened? She Yatzim Menur Shleimai, Shekasad by Elef Oilos Yala Shleimai. So L'chaira, it's a very good thing. So in other words, he was paid back in a good way. So what do you mean he's paid back with 42 kids dying? He was paid back by having a child, a descendant, Rus. Rabbi Yossi ben Chayni, Rus Bitoi Shel Eglain. Rus was the daughter of Eglain, Benoy Shel Balak, the son of Balak. Now that's not literal. It's much farther generations down the line. It's very, very far down the line. And this fellow, Eglain, in Shaftim, it says, we had a Gemara, Eglain was a very corpulent fellow. He was corpulent, and he was sitting in a chamber of coolness. Some kind of whatever the air conditioning at that time was. And Ehud ben Geri came in, said he had a good message from Hashem. He stood up, and Ehud, who was left-handed, pegged him, killed him. But the fact that he stood up, he was like to have his son sit on he got off his throne. He was like to have his son, a descendant, sit on the throne of Hashem, which of course was David. David was a descendant of Rus, who was a descendant of Eglon, as you see over here. Okay. So you have a kasha, guys. What's the kasha? L'chayra, he was paid back. He was paid back for being in the Kabbanis by having these wonderful children descend from him. And you're saying that 42? Says the Gemara, and from the Gemara, no, you're right. Says the Gemara, there's another payment over here. Nonetheless, he said, his taiva was for the purpose of klalas. The taiva that he bought that was the purpose of cursing, and therefore the curse was effective to the extent that 42 children died. Okay. Says the Gemara. This is another pasuk by Elisha. By Yomru Anshi Ha'ir El Elisha, Hinena Moshe Ha'ir Toiv. This place we live is good. Kasher Adoni Roya, like you see. However, the pasuk says the water is not so good. The water ain't so good, and it's a land that is mashkeles. It goes ahead and it causes death. So they say it's a good place, but guess what? It causes death, and the water is not good. It doesn't make any sense, right? What's so good about it? What's so good about it? So I'm Rav Chonin, Chein Mokam Al Yoshvav. The chein of a place is on its inhabitants. A person lives in a place, that's his place. A person lives in a place, that's his place. We don't understand it. You're living in Brooklyn. You always, how many times have you told yourself, how do you live here? Sitting in traffic takes you to get to Coney Island Avenue 20 minutes in the morning. You say, why am I living here? And the bottom line is, this is where you live. This is your place. Amar Rav Yochanan, Shloisha Chainos Hain. There's three Chainos. Chain Makayim Al Yoshvav, the chain of a place on the people who inhabit it. Chain Isha Al Baila, the chain of a woman on her husband. That no matter as they age, nonetheless, the husband finds the woman chain, and chain Mekach, right? Chain Mekach, and whatever he buys, when a person owns something, it has a chain. This is a Marsha. Marsha says very nice. He doesn't like Skoma, but he says very nice. Says the Marsha. These three things, right? The person's place, Shalom Amokim Gazu Adam Rishon Sheyishuv, right? Hashem said wherever Adam Rishon says it should be a place for Yishuv, we said this Gemara yesterday, right? That's going to be a place for Yishuv. Adam did not declare Yishuv, so Adam was given by HaKadosh Baruch Hu a place. It's called Yishuv. So in Mela, the people who are Yoshvin there, this is where you're supposed to be. That's the chain of Adam Rishon who declared this. The Isha. Right, the Isha. Why did Kadosh Baruch Hu say 40 days before Bas Ploni? And what about your house and your chasim? Bias Ploni to Ploni. So all these things were mokim. All these things were nigza. They were geyser, and therefore that says the Marshav. Therefore, if a person doesn't make any sense, it finds favor. I still remember Rabbi Fan speaking, and he quoted this Gemara. Rabbi Fan is from Seattle, and the Seattle had a wonderful baseball player named Ken Giffey Jr. And he was traded to Cincinnati. And he was so excited, he was so happy. And he said, you don't understand, Seattle's a beautiful city. People have been there. Beautiful water, nice everything. And Cincinnati seems to be a very hot, and Mississippi, very not geschmacka place. Yet he was so happy because his father was from Cincinnati and he was from Cincinnati. So that was Chayin Malcolm. That's the Chayin of the place. So I use this Gemara to explain Ken Griffey Jr. Interesting. Wasn't the Marshal. Okay. Tanabanan. Shloisha chaloyim chala Elisha. Elisha got sick, three diseases. He got sick 3 times. He got 3 things. Okay. What was the 3 sicknesses of Elisha? What was the 3 sicknesses? Echad shegira dubim b'tinaikus, the fact that he incited the dubim against the tinaikus. The echad shedachafay legechazi. Even though he saw that his kids, nothing's coming out of it, that wasn't the proper way to go, it seems, to go ahead and declare that on a child. The echad shedachafay legechazi, he went ahead and he was doiche gechazi b'shtei yadayim with 2 hands. The echad shemeis boy, and one shemesh that he died, shnemar Elisha chala eschol yoshe yomis, he died. Okay, a brief thing. Elisha, of course, was a Talmud Muvak of Eliyahu, and he had a attendant called Gehazi. There was a general. The general was named Naamah. He was the Melech of Aram, and he suffered from tsaras. And Elisha cured his tsaras. He told him to go in the river. He cured his tsaras, and he offered him a king's ransom, and he didn't take any of it. Anyway, so Naamah went on the way, and Gehazi decided, you know what? Why not? So he chased after him, and he said, my Rebbe Elisha changed his mind, and he got something, and he took it, he brought it back. Elisha took one look at him and knew what was going on over there, and Elisha cursed him. He saw that on Gehazi's forehead was tsaras, So he knew that he somehow had hooked up with Nama, and he cursed Gehazi. It was cursed that he was sorry forever. Right? So that's the background. So Elisha Maihi, where do you find that Elisha with Gehazi? And I skipped, right? Turn up on him. Okay, so that what? Okay, turn up on him. Lo'ilam tehe smile doiche v'yamin karebes. Lo'ilam, the left hand should push away, and the right hand should bring close. Loika Elisha shedafel Gehazi b'shtei yadav. Not like Elisha pushed away Gehazi with two hands. Elisha Maihi, what happened with Elisha? Tichsiv, Vayoma Naaman, Hoyel Kach, take Kikarim, Uchsiv, Vayoma Elav, what? I didn't skip anything. I don't know. This I don't have such Gemara. Huh? No, you're not wrong, but your quoting is the art scroll. The Ois V'Hada, what they did was the people, Heshi's the only one who mentioned it. This Gemara, there's something missing. It's the Maisa with Yeshuv and Prachi and Yeshu had Noitzri. It's part of the Chesroinus Hashas. It does not appear in our Gemara. It's fascinating. You have an Ois V'Hada Gemara, or Heshi has, you have the art scroll. So it says two things. It says not only you have Gehazi, but you have Yeshua and Prachi. So we will bring it in as an addendum, but I'm reading from the old Gemara, and my Gemara does not have any mention whatsoever of Yeshua and Prachi. Is yours? It does mention Yeshua and Prachi. You have an Ois V'Hada Gemara? Yeah. Which Gemara are you using? Yeah, it's the new Gemara. The new Gemaras, they put it in. The sense that they took out, they burnt the Shas. They took out any mention of him. We'll discuss it. We'll digress in a minute, okay? Anyway, let's just see what it says over here. So he says that Nama tells him to go ahead, and take Hikarim. You should take Kikros of Kesef and change the clothing. Ukasiv, when he turns to Elisha, by Yomer love. Now he only took two things, but it keeps on going on. Even though he only took, it mentions 8 things, even though he only took 2 things, he only took kesem and clothing. Did it really takes 8 things? Kesem begodim, who the shakal, he only took kesem begodim. Rabbi Yitzchak Boisa Shah, Hayalisha Isaac, Shmeina Shratzim. He was Isaac in the parak of Shabbos called Shmeina Shratzim. That's the 8 things alludes to the parak of Shmeina Shratzim. Amalai Russia said Elisha to Gehazi Russia. Hikia Ace Lite Schar Shmeina Shratzim. You would reach the time to get schar for the parak Shmeina Shratzim that we learned together. And what happened? It says with Saras Nama Tidbak B'cha Ubezarach Eloilam. The Saras of Nama should cling to you, Gehazi, and your children forever. And it says Marboya Anoshim Hayim Tzarayim. One of the Haftarahs we learned. Therefore, we afford Gehazi and his sons. Rabbi Yochanan Ze Gehazi Ushloisha Bonov. This refers to Gehazi and his sons. Okay. And now it says. Vayelech Elisha Damesek. He went to Damesek. Lama Holach. Why did Elisha go to Damesek? Rabbi Yochanan Sheholach LaChsira LeGehazi B'Tshuva. He went to go get right. Lechazabai. Amaloi. Elisha said to Gehazi, Chazav Chadu Tshuva. Amaloi. Kach Mekublanim Imcha Kol Misha Chata V'Echles Rabim. Anyone who was Chayta as Machtir the Rabim. Ema speaking B'Yalas Tshuva. Don't let him do Tshuva. Mayavi. What did Gehazi do that is considered that he was Machtir Rabim? What did he do that was Machtir Rabim? Iked the army. Evan She'eves, he had this magnet. Olav loich lechatus Yeravam. Be'amidu ben Shemayim v'aretz. Yeravam ben Nevat had set up in the town of by Dan. He set up 2 golden calves, and they were suspended. How? And it looked like they were flying. It was magnets that Gehazi gave him. And I guess he had polarized the different areas, so it stayed in the middle. So he was chayt machtir sarabim. The army, Shem Chakak Leapuma. Gehazi was Chakak in the mouth of these fat golem, the shame of Hashem, right? And as a result, it said, so the people were fooling to thinking that it's an Elokus. Vikadiyami, Rabbanan Doichem Mikamei. He pushed away Talmid and wanted to learn with Elisha. The Chsiv, after Gehazi left, it says, Vayomer b'nei Anavim, Elisha, Kine noham mokam asher nachnu yoshim sham l'fanechet sarmimen. It's so very tight over here. You know, why all of a sudden now is it tight? Michal died in the Lehavi Tachik. It wasn't tight because Gehazi didn't let him in, so there's a lot of room. And then it got tight all of a sudden. Why? Because those are the things that Gehazi did. So this is an example, guys. This is an example of being doicha b'smol v'kar mesimin. So not like Gehazi. Gehazi pushed away with both hands. Elisha pushed away with both hands, and for Gehazi, he didn't leave room for Gehazi to come back. We're talking about Eliphaz and Timnah. Eliphaz and Timnah. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get that. Okay, now the next piece of Gemara is from the Chesronos Hashas. The next piece of Gemara is from the Chesronos Hashas, right? So for people who I put it out there for people who have an old Gemara. So I put it out there, and this is what it says.
What's a Chesronos Hashas?
The censor took it out. The censor took it out. So the back of the Gemaras have it. They put it back. So it's called the missing pieces of Shas. So this is it. Loy kalisha shedachul gechazi b'shtei yadayim. Loy kibishu ben prachya shedachul yeshu anoitzi b'shtei yadav. Gechazi dechsiv or kibisura ma'asu v'gechazi. Rabbi Yeshua ben prachya ma'hi kidekatlinu yanai malkel rabbanon. When Yanai killed all the chachamim, he wanted to become the kohen gadol also. They didn't want him to. Also, Rabbi Yeshua ben prachya v'yeshu la'achsandria shal Mitzrayim. Yeshua ben prachya was the brother of Yanai's wife, and he ran away. And beside them Zion, Shimon ben Shetach, I guess Shimon ben Shetach. Maybe I told you wrong, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. So the Shimon ben Shetach was the brother of Yanai. And Kihavi Shalmei, when there was Shalom, Shalach le Shimon ben Shetach, Minei Yerushalayim Mer HaKodesh, Lechi Alexandria Shem Mitzrayim, Achaisi Baili, my brother, my master. This is Yeshua and Prachya. Shori b'sochech v'anochi yashev shemema. Come so Mitzrayim le'ahu ashpisa. So he got up, and because he realized that was the shalom, and he came to an inn. Avdulay yakara tuva, and the innkeepress, she treated Yeshua and Prachya with great honor. Amar kami yof echsan yazu. How beautiful is echsanya and hamidos. So Amalei, why did Yeshua say, Rav? Rabbi, eineha trutais, her eyes are wide, or something. In other words, he made a comment about her physical appearance. Amalei Rasha, the kachat to Isaac. This is your Isaac and checking out the girls. So Afik Arba Meya Shipure V'Shamte blasted the shayfa 400 times, and he put him in cherem. Asla Kamei Kamas Manim, and Yeshu came in front of him many times. Amalei Kablin. Lehabi Meshakabe. He wasn't Mekablish Tshuva. So he pushed him away with two hands. Yom Chad, one day, Habi Kokori Kriya Shema. He was learning Kriya Shema. Rabbi Yeshua ben Prachya. Asla Kamei Yeshu came, Sabla Kabule, and he was going to go ahead and Mekabel him. He's going to accept his Tshuva. Achle Biyode. He probably went like this. Echad. He probably went like this with his hand. And Yeshu took it as the final shove. He took it as the final, the push. Asla and so who sava mitra dachile? Yeshu thought he mitra dachile. Amalei hachmikublanim imcha kol hachayta machtias arabim ema speaking v'yalas shuva. V'amar Yeshu hanoitzri kisha ve'esis ve'diachis as well. Tanya amim shemem. Okay, so what it says over here, he went and he started worshiping a brick. And there's a Gemara here, and there's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. So let's just see the pshat over here, and then we'll discuss Yeshu a little bit. Okay, let's discuss the Gemara here, and we'll see a little bit. These are two cases where a person pushed away with his left hand and both hands instead of left hand and right hand. The third place is mentioned by Yehuda, is the Maisa with Timnah. If you look in the end of Pashas by Yishlach, it brings the whole family tree of Esav, and it says that one of the Pelegish of Eliphaz, the son of Esav, had Amalek, and Rashi tells us that Timnah was a princess, she wanted to be Dovik into the Zera of Avraham. She came to Avram is Daichaha. She came to Yitzchak pushed her away, to Yaakov pushed her away. And she said, better to be a Pelegish in this house than a princess in my house. She ended up being a Pelegish to Elipas. So Chaim Shmulevitz said, Avada Avram Yitzchak Yaakov saw that she didn't have what it took to be part of the Zer Yisrael. But the way he pushed her away was not the right way. So it's ironic. The three greatest, I'll do one more. I'll do one more for you. Vayar, Sarah sees as Ben Hagar mitzvahs mesachik. Says Rashi, the big three. Right. And how's it possible? How's it you talking that growing up in Avram's house that he went off the deep end like that? So it's the pasuk before says that Avram Avinu made a mishta gadol b'yom Yitzchak. Yitzchak. He made a mishta gadol. What's pshat? So pshat's like this. This person, Yishmael, he thought that he's the heir to Avram and everything Avram stood for. Again, Avram is Makarav. We can't imagine the charisma of Avram Avinu and how he Makarav people and how many people were around him. And it was an amazing life he led. And who was the heir to this? Yishmael. Now, Kadosh Baruch Hu makes a part. Avram Avinu makes a party, and what's the announcement? Ki b'Yitzchak Karol Chazara. The announcement is that you know what, Yitzchak's the guy, not you. So says that's a double push. That's being pushed off the deep end. A mishta gadol, and shayach then you can go ahead to an extent and do anything. Once a person's pushed, there's no when they fall, it's no how quickly they can fall and do crazy things. It's unbelievable. So it's amazing to me that the biggest enemies of Klal Yisrael all came about the same siba. Amalek, the Arabs, and the Christians. All came about because of this, the Olam. Now you think that it has no shaykhs to us, so I'd like to suggest my own interpretation. But Baruch Hashem, most of us here are finished with it, but for those who are not, this is very important. It's a machlis. We live in a door of machlis. And one of the common machlis is, of course, shidduchim. Another machlis is the child that's off the derech. Children go off the derech. People don't know what to do. They try to be friends with the kids. They don't know what to do. It's pashut. They feel powerless. So sometimes they'll do something very rash. They'll say something they don't mean. They'll give them a curfew and say, if you're not back home, then the door will be locked. They give an ultimatum. The door's going to be locked. So really what they want to tell the kid is, I can't stop you from going out on Motzei Shabbos. I don't want you to get in real trouble. Please be respectful that I'm letting you go out, and be respectful to me to be home at the time I said. That's what you should say. But if you say the door's going to be locked, it's two hands. Guys, if you have a left hand this way and your right hand this way, you're leaving room for compromise. If it's a two-handed push, where's your room for compromise? There is no room for compromise. It's just an ultimatum. Giving an ultimatum to a child is very unhealthy to anyone in general, but to a child in particular in his teenage years is you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble. So I think that's perhaps an insight, a chinuch insight, Rabbi Avi, for being pushed to the left with the right. Don't give an ultimatum. Two hands is an ultimatum. You're not leaving any room for the child to come back, right? Mashenke in the left and the right, you're leaving room for the child to come back in, and for anyone to come to be chayzer b'tshuva. Anyone to be chayzer b'tshuva, right? That's why I think it's a hey. Yeah, this way and this way you can come back in, right? There's the double place you can come back and tap in the bottom. So that's the meister. Now, the question about Yeshu, this is a very, very fascinating thing now. So we have a Gemara over here that he was a Talmud of Yeshua ben Prachia. When did the meister of Yeshua ben Prachia? How Yeshua ben Prachia lived in the time of Hanukkah? Mamish Hanukkah. He was. Now there's another place where. And again, a chesronis hashas, and I'm sure the art scroll doesn't have it. There's a Gemara in Mem Gimel in Sanhedrin. Gemara says this is speaking about people that you're going to kill, you're going to give them skila. So matzloi schus, but true, you find the schus, you let him off the hook. It's a Mishnah, Mem Gimel and Aleph. The lav yoytzel lisaka, you take him out to be stoned. The cruz yoytzel lefanav, and a cruz would go out. They'd call out. Ish Ploni ben Ploni, Yatzli Sakel. Why? Al Shavar Aveira Ploinis, Uploni, Edav. Right? Kol Mishir Delas Chus, Yavav Yilam Love. That was the cruz. I'm gonna buy you a circle member beyond plony, ubashab plonis, ubamakam plony. They'll make it the yod of Yossi Mason Lahu. Give him specific information. Maybe you want, get a little aid from. How could you testify you with us at that time? Lifanov, it says in front of him, may karaloi, but not before him. It says Rashi, may karaloi, aborim yoidim kaidim, 40 days before. Where's 40 days? Why are you mentioning 40 days? Where does 40 days come in? It makes no sense. You said meeting right now before you kill him, but not before. Where did you get 40 from? It's Rashi says that. So you take a look. I posted it. Guys, this is from the Chesronis Hashas. You have that Gemara. Yes, you do. I posted this. This is from the Chesronis Hashas in Masechta Sanhedrin. This is Chesronis Hashas in Masechta Sanhedrin. Okay, this is when it says on it Gemara, Lefon of in may karaloi. That's what the Gemara says. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, right? Lefon of in may karaloi. Iva Tanya, the Erev Pesach Taluhu Lieshu, and Erev Pesach they hung up Yeshu. Cruz Yetsu Lefon of Arbaim Yaim, and the cruz just went out. You see, not Lefon of, it went out 40 days before. That's the 40 days that you're missing all of a sudden. 40 days. You're talking about. Oh. So you see, by Yeshu they did call out 40 days before. Yetsu L'Sakel, why? Al Shekishef Behisisis Be'ediches Yisrael. Anyone who has a schus, come and say Mam schus. Blame Matzalei schus, they could find a schus. Amaula v'tizbara, Barafuche schusu, a mesis. Yeshua Noitzi was a mesis. Are we going to look for a schus? Mesis who? Rachmana Amalei Sakmal is Tassalav. Don't mean Rachmanis. Elashani Yeshu, the Karv Lamalchus Have. Yeshu was Karv Lamalchus. So therefore, in this place, we'll look for a schus. Now, based upon this Gemara, who killed him? The Jews.
Yeah, but wasn't this a different?
Just listen. Based upon this Gemara, who killed him? The Jews killed him. Now, they hate us. Who killed him? Pontius Pilate killed him. And the hatred is the Jews were there advising him what to do. We never crucified anybody. They crucified somebody. And Yeshua ben Prachya was well before Pontius Pilate. So, L'chaira, there were two Yeshus. L'chaira, there were two Yeshus HaNaitzri. L'chaira, there were two. And in fact, in one of the very famous debates that took place in the year 1240 was between the Riyaz Zaken. The Riyaz Zaken was from the greatest Bali Taisasin and the church. And that they claim you killed Yashka. And he said, it wasn't, there were two guys. There were two. And again, they burnt it. But this is why this is not in the Gemara. This is all from the censor. These are all censored why it's not in the Gemara, period. Yes, Shragi, what do you want to say? Where are you?
I was responding to what you said. I was responding to what you said before when they said.
Where are you? I don't see you. Where you're talking. I don't see you at all. I have 4 places on the screen. I don't even have a place for you on the screen. Where are you?
I'm trying to start this up. Okay, 1 second. All right. But no, I was just responding to what you said before that we birthed Christianity because of pushing it away. So I wanted to say what you said right afterwards that it wasn't us that did the Christianity. It was a different issue that did it. So we did Islam and the other one you said, but not Christianity. That's
but the Christians blame us. Okay, whatever it is, it's right. What?
Take this Gemara out. If it indicates
any mention, they took out the censor took out any mention of Yeshu, any mention, they burnt it. They burnt the Talmud. They burnt the Talmud afterwards.
This one indicts.
This is this again. Yes.
What's the rest of the basis of the
Where? Maybe Ksavyat. Ksavyat probably. Ksavyat. They would probably put the nicer. Okay. Anyway, it's a digression. It's an interesting digression and certainly bloggable material. You'll have pictures and everything if you're interested. Can't read all this stuff. Interesting. Anyway, where are we holding? This has Nakudas sometimes. Okay, we gonna make it to the Mishnah yet?
One line,
What?
one line.
One line before?
Mhm.
Okay. Tanya Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, Yetzer Tinoik v'isha, Yetzer the Yetzer for Tashmish Tinoik a child v'isha, right? Elote small doicha v'yon mikareves, as I say. Anyway, says the Mishnah. Nimsa ha'hayrik. So again, after all, we're dealing with the Inyan of what? Egla Rufa, correct? Dealing with Egla Rufa. So Nimsa ha'hayrik, actually nerpa ha'egla. Let's say you find the killer before you decapitate the egla. Heitze v'tirah be'eder. Then it goes out. It goes out in the eder as if there's no problem. Rashi says on the left, guys, up, 4 lines down. Heitze v'tirah be'eder kishar chulin, like any other animal chulin. V'haytana lesle hodar mina become a duchte. Egla rufa nesra mechayim. Egla rufa is usher while it's still alive. And when as soon as it hits the valley of Esan or the river of Esan, according to the Rambam, it becomes usher. In other words, this Mandiyama who says it goes back in the Eder obviously must hold that it's only Kaddish, it only gets its Kedusha after it's decapitated. But before that, and you don't need it decapitated, you can put it back in the herd as if there's nothing wrong with it. Mishener egla, once it gets decapitated, it's asabana, you have to bury it in its place. Why? She'al suffik basa mitchilasa. It came only a suffik. Mitchilasa kipra sveika v'halchalai. It did its job. So even if you find out that it wasn't needed, but once it was brought out of the suffik, it did its job and it's asabana. Nerpa egla v'yakach nimsa ha'reik. You still kill him. Don't think that gets him off the hook. It doesn't get him off the hook. Now, we had this Gemara by Tamei Eidecha says you're Tamei, not Tamei. We had this Gemara in Lamed Aleph. The exact same dialogue. Now, it says, guys, that you don't know who killed him. As long as it's known, even if you do not know the particular person, you're not going to bring Legel Rufa. So if you have Eidos that he was killed, even if you don't know who was, but again, as long as you know that a person killed him, then what? Then you don't bring that garufa.
When you bring it in,
What? No. Somebody has to know. Not the person. What? Again, nothing. So here again, I saw the killer. You did not. Isha imeres reisi, v'isha imeres loy reisi. In both those cases, they would go ahead and because they're makich each other, they weaken each other, right? Then you're going to do the arufa. The Gemara is going to ask, so as soon as the first one said, "What you killed, I got to kill." That's 2. 1 against 2 doesn't work. Okay. Again, you go after the majority. Once the Ritzchanim increased, they had many murderers. Then they move out to Egla Rufa. When's the time of the killers? Here it says Eliezer ben Dinai or Elazar ben Dinai. I like the Gersa Elazar ben Dinai better. Right? Here it says Eliezer ben Dinai. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this is the name of a murderer. And I wonder why a murderer gets named. This guy's a murderer. Mishabah Eliezer ben Dinai, right? Uschenya ben Parisha Hayanikra. He changed his name. His name was like, Clyde Barrow. Uschenya ben Prisha Hayanikra. Chazu l'Kroisai ben Haratzkin. So they went ahead and they called him, they began to call the son of Ratzkin. Misharobu Haminofim, when many adulterers, Pasco, Maimor, and Maimor didn't work anymore. Rabbi Yochanan Zaki, if Sikan, Rabbi Yochanan Zaki, the one who's mafsek, it's Shnemar, like Efgad Albanos Sechem, right? It won't check your daughters out, Kisses Nena, because they were Mazana. Balkol Sechem, Kisina Afna, Kihem. So therefore, it's not going to work. Mishemes Yosi ben Yoeza is trade of Yosi ben Yehudi Shushalayim, But eshkolos. It's the person eshkolos stopped. We'll see what that is. Shenemar ein eshkolecho bikura ifsa nafshi. And the pasuk says, "Abed chasid min haaretz v'yasha ba'adam oyen." Okay. Anyway, says the Gemara Vayta. Let's see. Yochanan kohen gadol heavier had doyos hamaisa. Vida meiser Yochanan Mikadol stopped. They didn't say vida meiser anymore. And the third year and the 6th year. Afu botles hamu oirim vesanoikfim. We'll see what that is. Ad yamav hoya patish machav Yushalayim. Until his days on Cholamoid, you could hear the sound of a blacksmith at Yushalayim. Ubiyamav ein tzarich lishal al adamai. In his days, you don't have to ask about the Mai. The Gemara will explain all of these things. Tanrabanan. Minayin sheim nerpaha agola v'yakach nimsa hoireg shein pait rasai tamaloima. How do you know he doesn't get off the hook? Because the pasuk says, "Ula oretz lo yechupar ladam asher shufach ba kim b'dam shayvchai." The only kapara is when dam shayvchai, the person who spilled the blood, will go ahead and pay the piper. Okay. Then it says, so guys, we had Eidach, it says what? I saw the Hayreg. So then you're not going to do it. Then Eidach, it said what? You didn't see. And then what's the halacha? You're going to go ahead and decapitate, right? Time of the machash say. The reason why you are going to decapitate is because you have one keneged him. Holoi machash lay, but if the Eidach, it's not machash it, Eidach himna. And Eidach will be believed. And like any place else in the Torah, we Apishnai made him Yakum Dabar. Yet over here you're saying that one does do the job. Says the Gemara, Minani Mili, how do you know an Eidach is believed? The Tanra Rabbanan. The pasuk says, Ki matzi chol ba'adama asher Hashem lekach ma'isen l'chol rishta noifel basada and loy noida. It is not known mihikahu. It's not known mihikahu. So had noida mihikahu, but if it's known, afilu echad b'seifa olam, even if that person is at one end of the world, loya arfin. They wouldn't go ahead what, and they wouldn't go ahead and decapitate. Even though they don't recognize him, they said, and our eyes did not see. They did see. You know, it's when they have egla rufa, when they can say when they can say that the lashon. If they did say, they can't say it. Therefore, you don't have what egla rufa. Guys, once the Echad said, I saw the killer, how could the other one go against him? The Torah gave him their manis. Right? We're saying an aid is believed. Fred the Gemara, this exact same kasha we had when she said what? Tameya. Says the Gemara. Eid Echad said you're tummy. Eid Echad said you're not tummy, right? So now, Fred the Gemara kasha. Anytime the Torah believes in Eid Echad, two. So as soon as it said, I know the killer, that's two people. Now comes along the other one. So when the other one comes along and says, you didn't see the killer, we don't believe the other one. Why? It's 2 against 1. It says, say loy haya arfin. They won't decapitate. Why? Because the first one is believed like 2. Rabbi Yitzchak, Tani lo arfin. And we give the exact same Gemara we had previously. Another teretz, Rabbi Chia says, no, Tani lo arfin. No, they would decapitate. Rabbi Chia kasha deula. That why kol macham she'emed eid echad emed kishnayim like kasha kam bevasachas kam bezev zeh achazeh. If it's when do we say that what loy arfin? That would be bezeh achazeh bevasachas. But bezeh achazeh. They mechanami arfin. Why? Because once Zechazeh, the first one came and there was no one connected it, he's believed like 2, and that's it. You can go after the majority. Haya arfin. Chad v'chad loy haya arfin. Tiyufted the Reb Chia. L'taimechem is seifa. Shnayim oimim re'inu. 2 people said we saw. I didn't see. Loy haya arfin. Chad v'chad haya arfin. The opposite diak. What do you have to say? Maslisan kula b'sulei this. The Mishnah is speaking about people who usually pass le'edus of Reb Nechemia. Doma kamakim she'emin Torah eid echad halachach roiv deyos. V'yaseh shtei noshim b'ish echad k'shnei noshim b'ish echad. So what one person you have one person testified, and that one person is pass le'edus and came along was a kosher le'edus and came along 2 versus that person. You're not going to. We're going to. We're going to make it like what? 2 against 1. That's why orphan. Vika the army called Heicha the Asaid Echad Kashem Ekara. If a man came first, Afilame Nashim, even 100 men, Ki Echadanya. The Asa Isha Meikara, a woman came first. The Titzlev the Chemia Hakin. Here's the way you touch Reb Nechemia. And Nechemia Oimer, Kol Makam Shamina Torah Echad Halachach Roiv Deyas. You're going to go after the majority. Vasa Shtei Nashim Beisha Achas. And we're going to make two men against one woman. Shnei Nashim Beisha, like two men against one man. But two women against one man. He palgadami, and what it's considered half and half. The Tati Psulei the Slami. Why do you have to tell me two cases of Psulei? This to go ahead and say that you break the neck, you decapitate. Avalakula say you don't decapitate loy mashmalan. Mishraba aratzchanim. Okay, we're going to go through this Gemara very, very quickly. Just a bunch of okay. Mishraba aratzchanim, when the ratzchanim they increase tan rabbanan. Mishraba aratzchanim bal leegla rufa. If you she'ena ba ela ala safik, it doesn't come on a safik. And once there was a established ratzchanim, guys, Mishraba ratzchanim begoloi. In other words, mistama, if someone was killed, we know it was killed by so and so. Somebody, because there were so many of them. Mishrabu naifim, tan rabbanon, v'nika ish meyavin. It says, when will the site of water work? When the husband is clean meyavin. This masha ish menuka meyavin, hamayim baitkin es ishtai. Ein ish menuka meyavin, if he's not squeaky clean, ein hamayim baitkin es ishtai. Another pasuk. The Gemara always asks when you have a v'oimer, the Gemara is going to ask why you have to do the pasuk. Like efkoid alban oseikim, and the pasuk says, it won't check your daughter's kisses nana. Gal kalasechem kisei neafna ki heim im azoinos yi paredu v'makdeshus yizabechu v'om lo yovin yi lovet. Okay, my volume. What do you have to bring the second pasuk for? You say I have a pasuk. The guy's not squeaky clean, right? So it's going to know. The chitema oven dida in the banel udbenesaloi. I would say when he's not squeaky clean, it's not going to work. But let's say his children aren't squeaky clean. So Tashma, le efgoid albanasechem, your daughters won't be checked out. You know why? Kisses nena, val kalasechem kisin afna. So even if what is children, it's not going to work. The chitema oven eshish in dafka the oven of eshish, but oven the pnuya loy, not a non-married woman, not Tashma ki heim im azaynos. The pasuk continues yiparedu. The am hakadeshu yizabechu, that any act of znus. Ma'ivim lo yavin you love at the end of the pasuk. Am Rebbe Lazo, am Lehem Navi Yisrael. Matem akpidam latzbechem to go ahead and be nifshel in znus. Then mayim boitkin shasechem. If you mak benatu, then lav eina mayim boitkin shasechem. It's not. It's only going to work when there's a morality in the world. Misharobu bali hana, when the Rabbi the bali hana, and Rashi says that the dayanim were bali hana, they didn't look into the matter well. Nisavnu adinim, as a result, the dinim became crooked. Niskaklu hamaisim, the ein noyach ba'olam. The Kadosh Baruch Hu had not nachas ruach in the world. Mishrabu roy panim bedin, when the people who mak upon him bedin, they showed favoritism. The bottle the pasuk of leisaguru that says you should not be leisaguru mefnei ish, and leisakiru panim b'mishpat. Uparku oil shemayim, the nasno aleim ol basavidan. They didn't care about Kadosh Baruch Hu, and they cared about people. People who whisper to Dayanim and Din, they call the lawyer over, you never know what they're saying. So Rabu Charanaf Yisrael, increase what Charanaf anger in Yisrael, and the Shechina left Mishum Shnemar, the Kerevela Kim Yishbait. When the Shreif is when it's Kadosh Baruch Hu, there's no shot, the Shreif for the Kadosh Baruch Hu can't be there. Misharabu Achrei Bitsam Levad Libam Hoylach, the Menef the Sheichad, Rabu Oimim Larav Tov V'Toivra. Mishrabu Oimim Larav Tov V'Toivra. So, there was a cry of hoy of woe in the world. Mishro, when Moishke Haruk, these are people of Bali Gaiva, they seem to spit. That was a sign of Gaiva, the distance you could spit. Rabu Hayehirim, then they increased the Bali Gaiva. In the Smatu Tamidim became less. But Torah Chayzer Lamdeha, and Torah was looking for people that would learn it. Mishrabu Hayehirim, his Chilu B'nai Yisrael Yinosel Yehirim. When it increased the 40 people, B'nai Yisrael began marrying 40 people. She'ein dairenu roya ela lifnim, right? Because of the gaiva, right? They thought that the daughters thought they were chashuvim. They thought they were chashuv people. Frank the Mar Indies really so that you marry 40 people. V'amar hayman de miyahir, a person's 40. Afilu ha'inshei besa loy mekabel. The people in this house won't accept them. Shnemar gever yahir v'loy yinveh. Even his own abode, he won't be accepted. So how can you say the woman would marry these guys? And the Gemara made Korah Kafzallah. Initially, they thought they were chashuvim. They married them. With Soif in the end, when they lived with them, the Tazal Alai, they became cheap in their eyes. Misharo Matile Meloi al Balibatim. When the Dayanim would invest with the Balibatim, Rabbi Shoichid Vatoyas Mishpat increased the bribery and the corruption of din. Upaska Toiva. Misharabu Mikable Toivastro Machsike Toivesecha. When the Dayanim, they would go ahead and they would say, whoever did them a favor, they would look favorably upon them. Rabu ish hayoshabein of Yaseh. Right? Rabu, the kufa of the shoftim, where everyone did their own thing. And then what happened? Shvolim hugbo v'gvoyim hushbala. The people who are shuffle, they elevated, and the people who are high, they brought down. And you couldn't tell the difference. Umalchusa, Oslo, Benavla, and Malchus Yisrael went from Mistabel, and that's how you ended up. Kalish b'yosha Yaseh. When cheap people increased the Tarfei Teref and Gazlonim, Rabu Ma'amtse Halev came the people who were cheap. The Koitzi Yadayim Elahalbais, and they would close their hand and lend money. Ravla Mashakosa B'Torah, Yisham L'Chapen, Yedavar, and Lavav Kablial. Misharabba in the Tuyas Gorin and Mishakron Seinayim, he's speaking about the girls who were walking around with haughty necks. So Rabu Mayim Amorim, there was increased the Mayim Amorim because again, suspicious about these people. Elisha Pasku until it stopped, as we saw earlier. Mishro Makabli Matnonis, Nismatu Hayomim, people Makabli Matnonis, their lives were decreased. Niskatsu Hashon and Dechsiv, Visonia Matnonis Yechia. Mishro Sechuche Halev, people when Mishrobu Sechuche Halev. What's Sechuche Halev? What does Rashi say? She'ein Matin es Oznam. They don't listen. Lishma Yofim Rabam. The same al Binosam. In other words, they didn't hear. They hear half a matter, they don't hear the whole thing. So Rabbi Machloikas be Yisrael, this caused Machloikas be Yisrael. Mishrabbah Tamid Shammai V'Hillel Shleishim called Sarchan, Rabbi Machloikas be Yisrael. And the Rabbi decreased the Tamid Shammai and Hillel, increased Machloikas in Yisrael because they weren't Meshamis. And as the Torah Kishtei Torahs, it became like two Torahs. Mishrabbah Mekablet Tzedakah Min Ha'oiv Dekachavim, Yisrael L'mayla V'hem L'mata, Yisrael L'fnim V'hem L'achar, L'shanaki. That's why we ended up vice versa.